Well, first of all, thank you everyone who's joined us today at Goldman Sachs. We're thrilled to be hosting this conference this year, and we hope it's been an enjoyable day. My name is Kerry Blum. As Paul said, I run our global equity structuring business in wealth management, and I am thrilled to be here today with Corinne Vigreux, who was one of the co-founders of TomTom and is currently the Chief Marketing Officer. TomTom has transformed the way we navigate the world, and she has oversaw the pivot of TomTom into a deep tech company and global map maker. Corinne also co-founded Codam College in Amsterdam, which provides free software engineering education. She's the vice chair of Just Eat Takeaway Supervisory Board and has been honored as one of the Forbes Women 50 over 50. So welcome, Corinne, and thank you for being here today. If we can jump right in, TomTom has been a leader in the digital navigation space since 2004. Since that time period, there have been both macro challenges, like the financial crisis and COVID, and changes in the competitive landscape, with Google and others entering the space. You and TomTom have been incredibly resilient and dynamic. Can you discuss how you've navigated the various challenges and share some of those perspectives with the group here as they think about their path forward?
Yeah, so you must be all wondering, oh my God, poor girl. Someone told her that now we navigate with Google Maps on our telephones. Folks, I know. We got massively disrupted, but so TomTom is a company actually we founded in '91. So we're 30 years old. I know I don't look it, even so it's 50 over 50 from Forbes, always a bit worrying, but yeah, I'm nearly 60. So I've seen a lot of transformations through tech, and we started our life actually as a software developer, then we created this sort of sat-nav business, helped save thousands of marriages. And in 2007, when the iPhone came out, we could see that consumer electronics, that space was going to change. And I think that was time to basically pick a bet, and we wanted to make a map in real time. Geolocation, 20% of any request on the internet has got a geolocation component. And if, you know, mapping is everywhere. So we decided to buy, so we went public in 2005. We were probably one of the very few hardware company who bootstrapped to IPO. Goldman, thank you very much, and Lehman, you remember them, took us public. We quoted in the Amsterdam Stock Exchange, and the four founders, we still have about 47% of the shares. So that allowed us as well to have a pretty long-term view on the strategy we wanted to take. So after our IPO, we decided to buy our map maker, TeleAtlas. You had two map makers in the world, Navteq and TeleAtlas. And the dream was we're going to build a map in real time. And that's more difficult to do than we thought. And today, that's basically what we're doing. So we are creating a standard in map making.
Well, thank you for that. It saved me many a times, I'm sure. So thank you. And when we think about where TomTom is now, TomTom is a steering member of the Overture Maps Foundation alongside Amazon, Meta, and Microsoft. So can you give us some insights into this initiative, as well as discuss the process for identifying and building these global strategic partnerships?
Yes, you probably don't know, I mean, not everybody knows, there are only really 3 global map makers in the world. So you've got Google, you've got HERE, which is now old Navteq in the hands of German car manufacturers, and you've got us as an independent map makers. And we thought that it was important to establish a standard in map making. Tremendous amount of application and use cases are relying on actually good APIs and future-proof APIs. And mapping is quite complex. So you've got geometry as a base layer, you've got address point, you've got traffic attributes, you've got points of interest, and then you have got traffic. And all these changes all the time. And it's very important for car manufacturers, or part of our customers are car manufacturers, big tech, and a long tail of developers who need geolocation technology. What you want is to give them products that are future-proof and a standard that they can use and that got a warrant of quality. So we took the initiative to partner with large organizations that have got that data and really create, with the Overture Foundation, a new standard in geolocation services and map making.
Fantastic. And just switching gears a little bit, Corinne, you founded TomTom in 1991, as you said before.
Yeah.
Over 30 years ago with your 3 other co-founders, and you remain a cohesive leadership team at this point, which is a unique relationship. So can you help the group just kind of think about how that relationship across the co-founders and the longevity of it has helped shape TomTom over the years?
Yeah, I think as entrepreneurs, you set up a company for different reasons. And I think for us, it was never about really the exit or the money. We were a little bit on the quest. And when we got SatNav, we had a massive impact. There's really a world before TomTom and a world after TomTom, certainly in terms of the way people navigate. And then when we bought TeleAtlas, the idea was really to build the smartest map on the planet. How can we make sure we've got that all those changes really in real time for all those new use cases? So we got public in 2005, so the money was fine. So as founders, we got that sorted. And really, we stayed because we really wanted to make sure that we used our expertise and our experience to create that standard. So, and so we refactored the way we make map. We now use, of course, a lot of, we're a big data company and we're a big deep tech company. We have about 4,000 people, 3,000 engineers, 35 offices all across the world. And the idea is really to automate that map-making process at scale and globally to answer all the use cases. So in the olden days, it was to go from A to B, and today, well, you want your meal on time, you want your takeaway on time. So the driver needs to know exactly where to go in that restaurant and pick it up, and exactly to deliver to the right address point. And this changes all the time. So there is a tremendous amount of data you need to generate at scale. Think about autonomous driving. We would develop high-definition mapping as well to make sure to enable autonomous driving. We enable EV by having the best global point of interest database of charging points and reach what we call rich POIs. So not only where are the charging points, but are they available? Are they broken? Is there a coffee in the area? So you can imagine there's a tremendous amount of data that one needs to manage. So that's what we do, but also in the metaverse. Mapping is used everywhere. And the idea is we want to power geolocation even for the use cases that we can't think about today. I think it's important to have that standard so that all the entrepreneurs of tomorrow can build their products on this data. So yeah, so we're pursuing our dream. We think that as founders and the fact that we still have a large proportion of the shares allowed us to also have a very long-term vision. We took some big bets. We made some difficult decisions. But yeah, as a company that serves us right. And I think for founders, we're very different. So we have two that are technical and one who's very much product, finance. So we're good, old-fashioned Dutch-run companies. So a penny is a penny. We're a bit old-fashioned from that point of view. So we don't have much debt. We have quite a lot of money on the balance sheet. We actually, just before COVID, sold our telematics company for $1 billion to Bridgestone, which means we entered COVID, talk about timing sometime, very well capitalized into the crisis. And I think that gives us the means to really follow that North Star, which is really to make that map in real time and the smartest map on the planet.
Fantastic. You mentioned your IPO.
Yeah.
The path to an IPO is often on the minds of entrepreneurs managing late-stage growth equity companies. TomTom reached this milestone in 2005 when it went public with listing in Amsterdam. Thinking back, can you help us give us some perspective on what it was like going into that process, deciding on the right path for TomTom to pursue the IPO, and just any advice you would have for individuals whose companies may be 2-3 years out from that potential milestone as well?
I think the thing is you don't want to IPO when you need it. You IPO in your anticipation that you're going to need capital, and you want to have access to capital market. And I think for us at the time, the company was we had extremely fast growth. I mean, from the time we launched the first SatNav, I think we could not supply for about 3 years. We sold 100 million of those little devices that maybe some of you've got in a cupboard somewhere. So it was a tremendous success. And I think we knew that because we knew the world of consumer electronics, that at some point we needed to pivot, we needed to have access to capital. So that was a good time to IPO. We did float only half the company, so we kept kept also a lot of the shares ourselves. But a year later, we were buying TLF for about 3 billion. So I think that was the right decision. I think, for us, it was really, you need to have a rationale behind why you go to market and why you need capital. So and we were lucky to be bootstrapped as well, because it's not because we wanted to, but in 2000, nobody wanted to touch us with a barge pole. So some of those startups maybe or scale-ups in the room, sometimes if your investors that don't see the product, the validity of your product, there's nothing to do with you or the quality of your product. I think Airbnb had the same issue. Nobody really saw when we approached investors in 2000, nobody saw that we would do anything. They were saying, but of course, navigation, that's going to come through the car. Nobody will buy a consumer electronic device. So I think as entrepreneurs, you know your market, you test your market, you have insight. I think you need to believe in yourself. And so for us, going to the capital market was the right thing to do. We did it at the right time as well. I think we were 7 times oversubscribed and one of the big successful tech IPO in Europe at the time.
Fantastic. And maybe before we wrap here in a couple of minutes, we'd love to just spend a minute on your commitment to philanthropy. So you're a vocal advocate for entrepreneurship, technology education, diversity and inclusion within high-tech industries. In 2018, you founded CODAM, which is a coding college in Amsterdam that provides nonprofit tuition-free computer programming college and top-tier affordable education to people from all walks of life. Remarkable achievement. Can you talk about the inspiration for the school and any lessons you've learned from this investment?
Well, I think, when you're an entrepreneur and I'm in the fortunate position to be able to give back, and I set up a foundation after we went public aimed at social mobility, so I'd been investing quite a lot in other projects, and I still do. But I had this idea of, as a tech entrepreneur, I see the shortage of tech talent. I'm particularly seeing the shortage of women in this industry. So I came across École 42. Some of you are French in the room. You would have known the setup from Xavier Niel, who is a very famous philanthrope and entrepreneur in France. And I saw that model. I said, yeah, that's exactly right. And so I licensed the curriculum from Xavier, and then I set up CODAM. I have now 450 students. I started 5 years ago, 30% of women. And first of all, I get a lot of satisfaction out of it, because this is a school that's open to anyone, so you don't need to have any previous qualification. I'm a great believer that great brains is everywhere. Sometimes if you don't have the network, or you're not born in the right place, it's difficult, or you fell out of the bandwagon when you're a teenager for whatever reason. It's very difficult to have a high level of education, and this provides university level computer science education. So yeah, it's a great satisfaction. I've just done the graduation of the last cohort in September, and if you see those kids, they all get great jobs. I see them flourish. It's a peer-to-peer learning method. You don't have any teachers, so for a lot of kids, it's actually a good way of learning. So. Yeah, I think that was one thing that's a byproduct of being a successful entrepreneur, is that you can use your money to do things that are close to you, and use your entrepreneurial mindset and put it up to things that have impact and matters, which is what I've done, and I really enjoy it. That's amazing. Gives me a lot of energy.
Amazing to see. As we wrap this discussion up here, from one entrepreneur to many, is there any last piece of advice you have for everyone in the room?
Yeah, no, I think that sometimes I get always very surprised with entrepreneurs. I talk to entrepreneurs. I do a lot of mentoring as well, especially of female entrepreneurs. And sometimes I'm always surprised that when you ask them about what they do, they tell you about the investors that they have. They are very proud about their investor base. And you think, well, actually, I'm not really interested about your investor base. What I'm interested in is about your product and the problem you're solving. So I think sometimes it's good to go back to, what am I doing? What's the impact? What do I want to do long term? Don't think about the exit, but think about the problem you're trying to solve. The bigger the problem, the bigger your company is likely to be, and follow that dream and get the right investors, not too many, but people that were able to go with you and go the long way. And I think that's, and I'm not good at giving advice. At the end of the day, we all have, I'm not a lesson giver, I don't know, we all have our own ways of doing things. I've got my own way of doing things, but But I think that being an entrepreneur is very hard. It's a long haul. You need a lot of resilience. It's, at the same time, it's the best thing in the world because you're in charge of your own destiny and you can really make a difference. So go make a difference. Think about the problem you're solving. Throw your energy, your passion, and things that matters to you, and the rest will come.
Well, Corinne, thank you very much for being here with us today. It was a pleasure, my pleasure to host you. And thank you to everyone who's joined us here for the conference today as well.
Thank you.